Yo, what is up, everybody, man? It is your man, I Do a Barber here, and I'm cutting my son, giving him a nice little transformation. I've been growing his hair out, as you can see, and then it went from that to this. So stay tuned for this tutorial. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Little man's crazy. You can see him just giving out these crazy faces, but I grew his hair out. He had a comb over, sort of like pompadour comb over, but I grew his hair out, and as you can see, he's rough. So I'm just combing out the areas that I'm gonna fade. And I didn't want to give him that in-between mohawk where it looks funny in the back because it looks like he's growing out a mohawk. I wanted to grow his hair out where once I cut it, it's legitimately a mohawk. It's not one of those half hawks where it's longer on the top and a little bit short in the back, and then, you know, in due time it'll grow in. I just figured I'll just let him woof it and then I'll cut it. So that's what we're doing here now. So me, when I do my mohawks, I start off with the V in the back, and everyone does their mohawks differently. This is just how I do mine. So I start off with the V in the back, then I'll bald out the initial guideline on each side. So that's just how I do it. So I'm just using my GTX with the gold blades. And by the way, if you guys are curious on any of the tools or equipment I use, the camera equipment, links to all this stuff will be in the description below if you would like to copy some of that. And so now, create my initial guideline, and this will be what I will use as my base to fade. And for me, I've just found out that this helps best for me when I do mohawks, that I create the initial guideline first and then fade from that, especially once I create the V in the back. Because I've noticed whenever I just create the initial guideline on the sides, I will sometimes get lost in the mohawk if I don't have that V in the back to know where to stop or start fading. So now I've got my 3-blade on, and I'm basically just clearing out bulk before I get into the fading, because I don't like fading into bulky hair. And that's just a little tip for you guys. Try your best not to fade into bulky hair, because what'll happen is you might chunk the hair, take too much off, especially if you fade with guidelines. You might go too far into a guideline just because you can't see the hair. So now I'm just retracing that guideline, and now I'm kicking off this fade. So got my fake Supremes, link to that video will be in the description, but I'm going up about an inch, creating an inch guideline with the lever all the way open. And once that's done right here, I'm just basically going open, half, close to knock out that guideline. So on this side, you can see I create that 1-inch guideline, and then I go middle, close to knock that out, and then I'll start blending up the rest of the bulk from the top into that. So as you can see, got my 2-blade on, and I'm just going up, just going straight up. I'm not really digging in, just going straight up. I'm using that guideline from the lever open to help me with that too. And as you can see right here, I went back into the V area, and I didn't go back there initially because I wanted to compress the blend right there. As you can see, the guide that I'm using is not as big as on the side of his head. So in that area, I didn't want to go in too far. Therefore, that's why it's so shallow. And I'm just basically going to compress the blend on the sides back there in that V area. But now I got my 1.5, and I'm going right underneath that 2. And as you can see, that line from the lever open that I created is slowly disappearing. You can see it slowly fading away, and that's what happens when you fade down. So now I've got my 1A blade on, and I'm basically going up right underneath that 1.5, and I'm using my corners a lot through here. And now I'm just going to continue to knock out down the bulk of the ridge, or when you transition to the longer hair. I'm just basically using clip over comb. I could have used my 3 3/4 blade, but for some reason today I felt like this was the move. I don't know. I mean, that's just with barbering, you know, like when you're able to do many different things and you have many different techniques, that's why you have to use them at some points. I mean, I just called an audible basically. So I'm going back in with 3.5, just shaping and just see some things. And now I'm just doing the same thing with that 3.5. You know, I just saw some areas in there that just needed to be tightened up. And now I'm coming in with the shaver, my Bronze Series 7, which I did a comparison to that in the Andis Master. Oh, not the Andis Master, the Andis Profoil. I'll also leave a link to that video in the description if you haven't seen it. So now I'm going in back with my fake Supremes. I actually saw something. I noticed something in the blend that I wasn't getting the contrast that I was looking for. So I had to kind of restructure the blend and reconstruct it. So I basically just did that. You know, here again, I'm slapping in my 1A, and I was just basically, I had to change the look of the blend. I just didn't really like the way it was looking. So I just kind of changed it at the last minute. So as you can see on the other side, doing the same thing I did on the left side of his head, creating that initial guideline, and I'm balding that out with my Slimline Pro LIs. And I'm following that up with the shaver this time. Initially, I didn't do it right away, but this time I learned from the slight mistake that I made on the other side, was to just knock it out all at once so I don't have to come back and reconstruct the fade. And that's the thing as barbers, and I love this YouTube thing, me editing these videos and doing these videos for you guys. I get to see some of the mistakes I make, and a lot of times I know that it's happening when it happens, but it's nice to see it again, so it just reconfirms the idea that yes, I need to do that. So it's a helpful tool for you and me. So first I created that 1-inch guideline with my fake Supremes. Now I'm coming up with the 3.5 blade, and I'm going straight up. I'm not digging into the ridge, I'm just going straight up off his head. As you probably saw, I exaggerated it there so you guys can see. So same thing, creating a guideline off of that fake Supreme open, and now I'm gonna come in with my 2 blade, going right underneath, going straight up, and I'm just clearing, and you're gonna see the contrast happen this time. On this side is a little bit different because I didn't initially knock out that fake Supreme open guideline. I'm basically going 3.5 to the 2, and then to the 1.5, and then I use the 1A, and then now you see me here with my fake Supremes, and I came back initially open just to make sure everything's good, and then I'm gonna knock it down halfway, as you can see right there. I'm going halfway, and then I'm going to close the lever and then knock out that guideline, and then follow up with the trimmers. You guys just watch me work. Got the lever closed, using the corners, just knocking out that line. Real simple. And I always tell people that ask me about fading. Fading is so easy. I try and tell people, to express that to people, that fading is so easy. But I know how you guys feel in the beginning, like it's difficult. And you be like, man, you make it look so easy, or, you know, easy for you to say type thing, response. But it is, like, once you get over that initial hump, you'll look back through all these growing pains and all these hard days, and you're gonna realize that, man, this was a lot easier than I thought. But I might do something, like I plan on coming out with a DVD, but I'm not sure if I might do this in a video format on YouTube. So now I'm just looking at his blend, looking at the shape of the hair, the balance of the fade on each side, just seeing what I need to do. And now I'm just correcting some things, you know what I'm saying? My son is playing around in the camera. He's looking at himself in the camera, goofing off. So now I'm just tightening up little portions of the fade that I see, you know, little dark spots. Maybe the contrast is not what I want. Maybe the blend is not quite spread out in one area. And that's just over time. Like, you develop that eye, train your eye to know what to look out for, and then you execute. So now I had my wife grab the camera and do the edge up, and she got some decent footage. Like, some of the footage I left out, but I basically kept what I could. So sorry guys if I didn't get good lineup footage for you guys, but just basically doing this. And his edge up, he has a nice cowlick on the right side of his hairline, and doing his hairline is harder than Chinese arithmetic. I hate doing his hairline, but it just is what it is. As barbers, this is what you got to deal with. And as you can see, my gold blades, getting them, and I got to be real sensitive, obviously, because he's a kid, and these things are zero gap to the fullest. So, you know, they're not cutting them. He's not irritated or anything. You don't see any redness. You don't see him bleeding. You know, I've got 2 pair of T-outliners with gold blades, and they're both hitters. But as you can see, man, I'm just being real light, obviously, because he's a kid on top of that. But just working on that edge up slowly. And that's the thing with people or kids in general. I mean, because even adults have hairlines that are the crooked, lopsided, have that cowlick in the front. You got to take your time. Don't rush it. Just take your time. Step back. Use your mirrors. You know, make sure it is what it is, and what you're seeing is what you're giving them. Because you can go straight across and think it's straight, but it might not be. You know, he might say peace out to you on his way out the door, and he's looking lopsided. So I'm just taking my time, just retouching. And see, I'm stepping back. I'm looking. You know, that's the thing about his hairline. It's just so difficult sometimes. And we getting there, slowly but surely. See, the blend is there. Lineup is there. Now we're gonna do some finishing touches. So I'm using my Easy Blade shaving gel. I'll leave a link to the review. I did a shave gel review video, and I'll leave a link to that in the description. So I'm applying the Easy Blade all over his forehead because my son has a little vellus hair, and some of them are a little bit dark, where the complexion of his forehead looks a little bit darker. So I applied it all over his forehead, and I shave his forehead. And I'm sure some of you barbers know certain kids are a little bit hairier than others in certain areas, and you know, he just has that little annoying hair. So basically doing the C cup, and as you can see, like I said, I'm shaving his head now, getting those little annoying hairs out the way. Just making sure I stretch the skin. Lay that blade about 30 degrees, and then I'm just stroking. I've been stroking, but I'm not applying pressure, especially because he's a kid. And really, in general, you don't want to apply a lot of pressure. You want to let the blade do the work, and also have the good product that will assist you in the shave. So now I'm working on the other side of his C cup and the other side of his line. And we're just getting there, slowly but surely. And I'm just retouching some stuff, going against the grain here. And that's the thing, you just got to make sure it's extra tight. You see my son there acting crazy, giving you the mean looks. So now I'm just going back in, doing a little touch-up work. Attention to detail, guys. Attention to detail. This is what you'll learn or see whenever you develop that eye for fades and stuff like that, or even in styling. And you see, now I'm just making sure his hairline is balanced. And I use my comb, and that's one little tip for you guys. Like, a lot of these combs you guys have little indicators on them, or little notches on them, and you can use those notches as an indicator as to if this hairline is balanced. So I was using my comb for that. So just a little tip for you guys. Now I'm just doing clipper over comb to knock down the hair on top. I didn't want to take too much hair off the top of his head. I just basically wanted to knock it down a little bit to match the back, because the back hasn't fully grown to the length of the top. So I just knocked down the top to sort of match the back. It's still a little bit longer, but I just knocked it down a little bit. And now I just applied my special water with a little something in it. And I'm just trying to manipulate the hair into the style that I want. So as you see, I put my 3 3/4 blade on, and there was that hard line in the back, which I anticipated. So now I'm just lightening up that line and softening it to where it transitions, the fade transitions into that bulk in the back. And like I say, there are many different ways to cut a mohawk. There are many different shapes to mohawks. I see people that have a wider V. Some people start off with the smaller V where it's more narrow in the back. This is just my iteration of a mohawk. I've done them either way. I've done all types of mohawks, whether it's like a South of France style where maybe one is round in the back, maybe there's a V in the back, maybe a square in the back. I've done them all. So this is just my iteration that I wanted to put on my son here. So just take it for what it's worth. If you like it, cool, take it and run with it. If not, you know, you could try something a little bit different. So this is the cut, man. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Definitely share these videos. If you have not hit the notification bell, hit that notification bell, because in the last vlog I just dropped, I told you the early bird gets the worm, so smash that notification bell and you're gonna find out why for this month of February's giveaway. So let me know what you think of the haircut. If you like it, give it the thumbs up. And if you don't have anything good to say, don't say it at all. Don't forget to subscribe. It's your man, I Do It Barber, signing out. I will holla.